Imagine this, those ordinary-looking Canada 5-cent coins sitting in your pocket or drawer from 1970, 1978, 1986, and 1997. What if I told you some of these small coins have sold for surprising amounts of money? Yes, these are the kinds of coins people usually ignore, but in the world of collectors, they can turn into hidden treasures with the right condition, rare mint errors, and unique details. These coins can be worth not just a few dollars, but sometimes hundreds, or even thousands. In today's video, we're going to uncover the full story behind these Canadian 5-cent coins, their history, how to identify valuable ones, their real market value, and the secrets that make them skyrocket in price. Make sure you watch till the end, because you might already have one of these valuable coins without even knowing it. Imagine holding a small, simple coin in your hand, a 1970 Canada 5-cent coin, something that looks completely ordinary. At first glance, something most people wouldn't even think twice about. But what if this tiny piece of metal had a story far more valuable than its face value? What if this coin, quietly sitting in collections, drawers, or even old jars, could actually be worth far more than just 5 cents? The 1970 Canadian nickel is part of a long tradition of beautifully crafted coins produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, known for their precision, quality, and iconic designs. This particular coin features the famous beaver on the reverse side, a powerful national symbol of Canada, representing hard work, persistence, and resilience, while the obverse carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, connecting it to a rich historical era. Now here's where things get interesting. While millions of these coins were minted, not all 1970 nickels are created equal. The real value depends heavily on condition, rarity, and most importantly, unique characteristics that only sharp-eyed collectors can spot. A heavily circulated coin may still only be worth a few cents, but a well-preserved example, especially in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, can already attract collectors and sell for several dollars. And then there are the rare cases, coins with mint errors, unusual strikes, or exceptional luster. These are the ones that can surprise everyone. Some high-grade examples have been known to reach values ranging from $10 to $50, and in rare premium conditions or rare varieties, they can go even higher depending on demand in the collector's market. Think about that for a second. A coin you might ignore today could be sitting on hidden value, just waiting to be discovered. The shine, the sharpness of the beaver design, the clean edges, and even the smallest imperfections can change its worth completely. Coin collectors don't just see metal, they see history, rarity, and opportunity, and the 1970 Canadian 5-cent coin is a perfect example of how something so small can carry both historical charm and real financial potential. Now imagine this, you move just one step forward in time, and in your hand lies a 1978 Canada 5-cent coin, another small, quiet piece of metal that most people would overlook without a second thought. But here's the truth that collectors understand and others often miss. Every coin carries a hidden story, and sometimes hidden value that only reveals itself to those who know where to look. The 1978 Canadian nickel continues the iconic tradition of the Royal Canadian Mint, featuring the same powerful beaver design on the reverse, a symbol of determination and strength, and the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the front, tying it to a legacy that spans generations. At first glance, it may seem nearly identical to other years, but in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest detail can make a massive difference. Millions of these coins were produced, yes, but not all of them survived time in the same condition. Most circulated pieces you'll find today have scratches, wear, and dull surfaces, keeping their value close to face value. But the moment you come across a 1978 nickel in sharp, uncirculated condition, with strong luster, clean surfaces, and crisp details in the beaver's fur and water lines, everything changes. These are the coins that collectors chase. These are the coins that begin to move beyond just a few cents and start entering the range of real collectible value. A high-quality example can easily reach $5 to $20. And when you step into higher-grade territory, professionally graded coins can push toward $30, $40, or even $60 depending on condition and demand. But here's where the real excitement begins. The rare possibilities. Coins with mint errors, slight misalignments, die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual surface features can transform an ordinary 1978 nickel into something far more valuable. These are the hidden gems that collectors dream about finding. In certain rare cases, error coins or exceptionally preserved pieces have been known to reach well beyond $100, and sometimes even higher when the right buyer comes along. That's the unpredictable magic of coin collecting. Value isn't just fixed, it evolves with rarity, condition, and market demand. Take a moment and really think about it. This is not just a coin. It's a piece of history frozen in time. Every scratch tells a story, every shine reflects its journey, and every perfect detail increases its worth. The difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable one can be so small, that most people never notice it, but for those who do, the reward can be incredible. So don't rush past these coins, don't ignore them, and definitely don't underestimate them, because that 1978 Canada 5-cent coin in your possession might not be as ordinary as it seems. It might just be waiting for the right eye to recognize its true value. Now picture this, the journey continues, and in your hand rests a 1986 Canada 5-cent coin, another quiet survivor of time, another piece of metal that most people would spend without a second thought, yet behind its modest appearance lies a story shaped by history, craftsmanship, and national identity. This coin was struck by the legendary Royal Canadian Mint, an institution known across the world for precision and excellence, a place where every coin is not just manufactured, but carefully brought to life with meaning and purpose. The 1986 nickel was created during a time when Canada was balancing tradition with modern progress. And even in something as small as a 5-cent coin, that balance is clearly visible. Look closely at the reverse side, and you'll see the iconic beaver, not just an animal, but a powerful symbol deeply woven into Canada's identity. The beaver represents hard work, persistence, and the building of a nation from the ground up. Its presence on the coin is not random. It reflects the spirit of a country shaped by effort, resilience, and natural strength. The detailed engraving of the beaver sitting on a rock with water lines flowing beneath it is a masterpiece of miniature art, designed decades earlier yet still carrying its full impact in 1986. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry the weight of national pride. Turn the coin to the front, and you see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a figure who symbolized continuity, stability, and a connection to a broader Commonwealth history. Her image on the coin is not simply decorative. It reflects Canada's constitutional monarchy and its historical ties. By 1986, her portrait had already evolved through different artistic interpretations, each capturing a different phase of her life, and on this coin, you see a mature and refined depiction that speaks of experience and endurance. This pairing, the queen on one side and the beaver on the other, creates a perfect balance between authority and nature, between history and identity. But beyond its design, the real intrigue of the 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin lies in its potential value. Millions were minted, yes, but time has a way of separating the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most coins that circulated heavily carry wear, scratches, and faded details, keeping them close to their original face value. Yet, when you encounter a 1986 nickel in exceptional condition, sharp edges, brilliant luster, and flawless surfaces, it enters a completely different category. Collectors begin to take notice and value begins to rise. A well-preserved example can easily reach $5 to $15, while higher-grade coins, especially those professionally graded, can move into the $20 to $40 range. And then comes the layer that turns curiosity into excitement. The possibility of rare errors and standout specimens, coins with die cracks, off-center strikes, double impressions, or unusual finishes can command far higher prices. These are the coins that break expectations, the ones that collectors actively search for. In rare and exceptional cases, such coins can climb beyond $80 or even $100, depending on rarity and demand. It's this unpredictability that gives the coin its energy, its sense of hidden opportunity. Think about what that really means. A small coin, created for everyday transactions, now transformed into a collectible piece with historical depth and financial potential. The 1986 Canadian 5-cent coin is more than metal. It's a reflection of craftsmanship, a symbol of identity, and a quiet reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. Every line in the beaver's fur, every curve in the queen's portrait, every detail carries intention, and for those who take the time to truly see it, the reward can be far greater than expected. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. It's the late 1990s. The world is shifting into a new era. Technology is rising, economies are evolving, and quietly, almost unnoticed, a small coin is being struck in Canada, the 1997 5-cent coin. It doesn't arrive with noise or celebration, it doesn't demand attention, and yet, it carries within it a silent confidence, as if it already knows that time will eventually reveal its true importance. This coin is not just another year in a long series. It is part of a moment when tradition met a rapidly changing world, when the past and the future existed side by side in perfect balance. The Royal Canadian Mint, known globally for its unmatched craftsmanship, continued its legacy by producing this coin with absolute precision. Every detail was intentional, every curve designed to endure decades of handling, wear, and history. On one side, you see the familiar yet powerful image of Queen Elizabeth II, a symbol not just of monarchy, but of continuity in a world constantly changing. By 1997, her portrait had become more than an image. It was a statement of stability, a reminder that while everything else evolves, some institutions stand firm through time. The elegance of her profile, the fine detailing of her features, and the calm authority in her expression give the coin a sense of dignity that goes far beyond its size. Flip the coin, And you are greeted once again by the iconic beaver butt. This is not just a repeated design, this is a legacy carried forward. The beaver, sitting firmly on its rock with water flowing beneath, represents more than nature. It represents persistence, industry, and the spirit of building something that lasts. In 1997, this image feels almost symbolic of the era itself, a time when nations were building toward the future, adapting, growing, and strengthening their foundations. The engraving remained sharp, deliberate, and full of life, a testament to the mint's commitment to excellence even in the smallest denominations. But here's where the story takes a deeper turn, because the real intrigue of the 1997 Canadian 5-cent coin is not just in its design or its history, it's in its hidden potential. At first glance, it may seem like any other coin, easily overlooked, easily spent. Millions were produced, and many still circulate or sit forgotten in collections. Yet, as with all coins, time becomes the ultimate filter, condition begins to matter. Details begin to stand out, and suddenly, what once seemed ordinary starts to separate itself from the rest. A heavily circulated 1997 nickel might still hold only its face value, showing signs of wear, scratches, and fading. But the moment you encounter one in exceptional condition, clean surfaces, strong luster, and razor-sharp details, the narrative changes completely. Collectors begin to pay attention. A high-quality example can move into the range of $5 to $15. And as you step into higher grades, especially those certified by professional grading services, values can rise to $20, $30, even $50, depending on demand and preservation. And then, there's the rare side of the story. The part that transforms curiosity into obsession. Error coins, those fascinating accidents of the minting process, can turn a simple 1997 nickel into something extraordinary. Off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled features, or unusual finishes can elevate a coin's value far beyond expectations. These are the pieces collectors search for tirelessly. The hidden gems that can push values beyond $100, sometimes much higher when rarity meets the right buyer at the right moment. It's unpredictable. It's exciting. And it's what makes coin collecting feel less like a hobby and more like a treasure hunt. Now think about this in a different way. This coin has traveled through time. It may have passed through countless hands, been exchanged in shops, carried in pockets, or left untouched in a drawer for years. Every mark it carries tells a story. Every preserved detail holds a piece of its original brilliance, and somewhere out there are still 1997 Canadian 5-cent coins waiting to be rediscovered, waiting for someone to recognize what others have missed. This is what makes the 1997 nickel so fascinating. It exists in two worlds at once. In one world, it is just a coin, small and insignificant. In the other, it is a collectible, a historical artifact, and a potential source of real value. The difference between those two worlds is not the coin itself, it's the person holding it. The one who takes a closer look, who understands the details, who sees beyond the surface. That is the person who unlocks its true worth. So the next time you come across a 1997 Canada 5-cent coin, don't rush past it. Slow down. Turn it over in your hand. Look at the light reflecting off its surface. Study the beaver, the waterlines, the portrait, the edges. Because hidden within that small, quiet coin is a story of craftsmanship, a symbol of a nation, and the possibility, just the possibility, that you are holding something far more valuable than it appears. And sometimes, in a world that moves too fast, it's these small, overlooked that carry the greatest surprises.